Okay guys, I am here to show you the brand new record book. The record book committee did an awesome job of simplifying and making this so easy for you guys. If you want to see just kind of an overview of each section, watch this video. I'll tell you everything about the record book in this one video, and then also there will be videos of each section of the record book, so you can look at those for more details, but this is just kind of an overview. So first of all, if you've never done a record book before, you need one of these books. If you have done a record book before, the book has not changed. We're still putting all of your files in the same book. So haven't got a record book before, you need to come to the office and get one. If not, we're adding to your old record book. The first thing in your record book always is a green sheet of paper, but this paper has changed. So the one you have right now, if you've done it the old way, is a bit confusing. This is a simplified version of that. It's how you earn your PIN, and it'll tell you serious details. Watch the shorter video for me to explain how to earn a 4-H PIN. But everyone needs a new one of these. It's like cardstock because you're gonna stick your pins in this paper actually. So at the very least, even if you're doing your record book the old way, you need a new award sheet, okay? Okay, so your record book always starts with your annual report. Before we get to that though, really briefly, this new record book you can do two ways. One, you can pick up all of your forms I have ready for you and you can handwrite it, which is totally fine. If you are one that wants to type it, especially if you're like an older kid, I feel like this is a good option. I made a fillable PDF, which I'll email to all of you guys. You just have to type in there and print it out. If you're doing the fillable PDF, you need to save it because every year you're adding to the same paper. So if you save it, you just have to keep typing and add rather than start over. So save it if you're doing the fillable PDF. Your record book should be prepared by the member, not the parent. And it's silly that I even have to say that, but I do. If you're watching this and you're a parent and you're watching this by yourself, it's great that you need to know how to do it so you can help your 4-H'er, but your 4-H'er should be watching this video. Make them hit play and learn about how to do this rather than you just knowing. Completing your record book should be a process that is ongoing throughout the year. This shouldn't be something you try and do all in one weekend. And when you do it that way, it's painful. So I would encourage you to just add a little bit as you go throughout your year, get it out every once in a while and fill in what you can. It makes it much less painful. Much less painful as you go on. Okay, so got your PIN record. The very first sheet that you do every single year is called your annual report. And we've always done this. We just changed it a little bit. And when I show you this is going to be backwards, but just bear with me. It's the basic information, your name, your address, who's in your club. If you are not a member of a club, if you're a member at large, you can still do your 4-H book. You just don't have as much to fill in. Talks about your goals, your club goals, and your leaders, your club leaders should have that information for you and they should help you with this part. So this is your front page. After that comes meetings and activities. Again, if you're not in a club, then you maybe won't have as much to fill out on this. But if you are, remember this used to be a tiny section at the bottom. We made it a full page. So if you attended the meeting, what you did at the meeting, maybe you brought a snack or did the pledge, and then other activities you did. Maybe you did some community service, you helped with 4-H week, whatever. This all goes on, it's like a summary of your year on this one page. Next is a page you've never seen before. It's brand new. It talks about accomplishments and leadership things. So it's all that stuff that doesn't really have another place in your record book. So for example, 4-H camp, teen leadership camp, if you won round robin, if you did showmanship, or if you were a winner of showmanship, what community service you did. There's just what other activities you're involved in. This is just a check, 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 I did this, and then you explain a couple things as far as community service and other activities at the end. So this is a super simple page. It just gives us an overview of where you went above and beyond or you had some extra leadership happening. Next is our cumulative report. So these are the things you add to every year. First of all, youth in action. This was always a weird part of your book that maybe you were unaware of. Like if you did clothing and textiles page, you were supposed to put fashion review on the back of that. Not everybody understood that. So we made youth in action its very own report, okay? So the way that this works, every youth in action opportunity is at the top. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what youth in action is, it's special foods, public presentations, fashion review, consumer decision making. They're all listed at the top. If you did any of them, you're going to write them down here. So let's say in 2018 you did this year, special foods, fashion review, public presentation. You write them all. What was the title? Describe it. Your county ribbon, state ribbon if you went to state, and other stuff like maybe you got top junior model at fashion review. So simple, you guys. Just easy, easy. So once you fill this all out, you just keep adding to it. So it all gets full eventually, and you put a brand new page on top, okay? And I should point out that you're always bringing your stuff from the back of your book forward. So time out here. Display exhibits, similar situation. This is an example is photography. So your photography pages from your old book need to come and go behind this new photography page so we can see what you've done. Your keeping track of pins is way easier now. So if you see up here, to earn a 4-H pin, you have to be enrolled in 4-H for 3 years. You have to exhibit in a project area for 2 years. And you give 1 county presentation, which is a public presentation at Achievement Days, or 2 club presentations, which is just a demonstration during a club meeting. And it keeps track of this for you. So you tell me what years you've been in 4-H. You tell me when you exhibited photography, and you tell me when you did presentations. So we can keep track of your pins and give them to you when you earn them, okay? So as far as display exhibits, you get a new page for every project area. So if you came to Achievement Days with 30 projects this year, you're not putting them all on the same page. You get 1 page for photography, 1 for visual arts, 1 for home environment, 1 for, they're all separate pages, okay? That's very important to know. And the same thing as Youth in Action, tell me the year, tell me what you did, your county ribbon, your state ribbon if you went on to state, and if you won Best of Show or Grand Champion or whatever, that all goes in this section, okay? Okay, next is livestock, which is very similar to display exhibits. The same thing, each new species gets a new page. Swine, beef, whatever you did is a new page. Same way you earn your pin, and you tell me what pigs you had, what you got, Grand Champion. Okay, that's pretty simple. Livestock record is the same thing. If you remember before, this financial record was very confusing. We simplified. Each new species gets a new sheet. Swine, beef, whatever you did, goats, every one is a new sheet. So you tell me your income, like the premium sale. You tell me your expenses, like feed, vet supplies. At the end, you tell me your profit and loss. Super simple, round it. It doesn't have to be to the exact cents, you guys, but it has to be close, okay? So this just tells you how much it costs you to have your swine or whatever you have, okay? This next section is brand new, shooting sports. So we have a lot of kids that only do shooting sports, and shooting sports takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy. If you're in winter shooting sports, you do it from January to April, and then again, if you do shotgun, you do it June to September. It's a big piece of your 4-H year. And so that's why we created a whole different section for shooting sports, because there's so many of you that are involved in that. And you should be able to write down all your accomplishments and be recognized for them. So it's 2 pages. The first page tells your goals. On the first night of shooting sports, remember I made you set goals. I have those goals, so if you can't remember them, you just call me and I'll tell you what they were. Got your goals, you tell me what you were involved in. BB gun, air pistol, archery, shotgun. Those are our options here. Next is your expenses. Did you buy something new this year? If you did, you write it down. Next is community service. So if you have any community service tied directly to shooting sports, like maybe you set up for the Pheasants Forever banquet, you put it down there. The next page starts with learning activities. If you did a talk or a demonstration, if you exhibited a poster on like the parts of a gun at Achievement Days, if you went to state or nationals, you would put that in this top section. Next is awards and recognition. So whatever ribbon placing you got at state, or if you got first place or third place or whatever, you put that here. The next section is your shooting sports story. So I want to really enunciate. If you were only in shooting sports, you fill out your shooting sports story. You would type it on a different sheet, but here's your directions. You can also handwrite it if you are a beginner. If you were involved in shooting sports and other areas of 4-H, you skip the shooting sports story and you only do your 4-H story, okay? just like you've always done. It looks like this. We tell you some questions on what you should be writing it on, but you need to type it on a different sheet of paper, sign it. Okay, I give you an example of what your 4-H story should sound like, look like, okay? After that, I don't have examples of these, but you do photos and clippings. Don't put them together. Photos on one pages, clippings on other pages. Keep them separate for us. In your clippings, you need to highlight your name, and I have all of your clippings printed out, so all you have to do is come get them, highlight your name, where you were at in the paper. Photos is similar. You have to describe the photo when you put it in your book, and then your book is done. And you guys, it should be so simple this year. I'm so excited to roll this out and see how it can be improved. Make sure if you think of something, you're like, God, I wish this was over here, or I wish that this was included, tell me, because this is a thing that can be changed. We can change to make it better. And the point is to make this a valuable learning experience and make it worth your time to do this, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know, but that's a really brief summary of the new book.